and she's the coordinator of the OAD Arts and Culture Research Group. She'll be talking to us on building back African Culture and Arts Foundation for enhanced management of intergenerational wealth in Africa. So a brief on her bio. Dr. Zong is a candidate at the Beijing Normal University, comparative education in the field of leadership and policies management, research orientation at education. She's a professional artistic director and choreographer for the past 10 years, starting from the National Ballet of Cameroon and living in China while continuing exploring the beauty of that field. And exploring China made her realize the uniqueness of what culture and art is to a country and its people. While in China, she obtained a diploma as an undergraduate in choreography and a master's in television and movies. She was the pioneer leader of the African Student Union of BNU during 10 years ago, and she's currently the vice president of the Cameroon Association Union. She's a professional artistic director and choreographer for the past 10 years as well, starting from the National Ballet of Cameroon and living in China. And she has so much to offer to us, even as we get to listen to her speaking. So please, let's kindly welcome Azong Ubeto for her presentation. Dr. Azong, are you there?
I'm here, sorry.
Over to you.
Here. Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the art education field that I've been doing for many years, and my experience, and also the study that I've worked on. And basically, I'm doing the art education field. I'm going to go from the root, like observing the situation of Africa, even though I've been also doing art education where I live in China for most of my personal experience and what I've learned during my long journey in this field. For art education matter too, yes, that's actually the small title that I was finding very interesting for this morning presentation. So what is art education? Art is an expression of human experience and the world surrounding him. It's a visual language that represents all the response from human environment that can be social, political, religious, and actually that has been over men in our society, that what we are connected with. So art connects people, everyone, with their history, heritages, culture, fostering and understanding of the diverse value and perspectives. So what is actually art education? Those are definition I was giving was mostly based on art, but what is actually art education? Art education is a process of developing an individual ability to see good and beauty with aesthetics and aesthetic and beauty. So it connects people in the way that it can give a more clue about, actually art people are not really like doing things that they don't know. They are doing things based on their experience. The way they project their work is actually based on their environment and how they reflect their work. So that's how you understand some people. And in education, we have to come back from its history, because why we have been from education. Many people think that this art education things was coming from nowadays situation. No, art education actually come from a very, 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 very long time. Since the Greco-Roman period, art education was influenced over Europe, and starting since from the Middle Age to our modern world, art education has a long period and history play an important role to improve the needs of countries' identity and stability, and to shape the education systems. From what is in China, art education have a long existence in traditional school over 2,000 years ago. Mostly focused on aesthetic education and calligraphy. The sixth art was the main base of education. At that time, it was promise of music, calligraphy, archery, mathematics, ritual, and charioteering. But the most important subject was music and ritual. In what has come from the Africa learning, study about the art education. We might not say education, but we were mostly about the apprenticeship system, which we were before the colonial era, we were transmitted from parents, which means our art, how it has been transmitted was from my parents to my parents, so from ancestry to the descendants. From the next slide, why it is important. Art is important because through artwork, a history of a group or ethnic is documented. Without art, I don't know you, you don't know me. And art is mainly more representing my identification. Where am I? Where I come from? Who am I? Also presenting myself. Art is also to communicate in diverse way. I can use a different part and you use a different way to introduce or talk about my own issue. Art is a crucial to individual growth and development and can even impact our health. A literature review from Frontier in Psychology outlines several studies linking aesthetic experience with broad improvement in subjects' emotional state that promote physical and psychological well-being. So art education is a process of individual effort to change, improve, and empower their life methodically. So we are going to say, oh, there's art education, but is it going to related to everything that is called art? Yes, it's related to all of them. So in art, we have the drawing, the painting, we have singing, we have everything that is visual art, anything that can enable the development of a person. So the importance of art in school. We have like, art is very important because in our school system, art develops creativity, it develops empathy, it develops leadership and traditional identity. From the development of creativity, art can give to scholars, to anyone, a freedom of self-expression, the use of knowledge to produce ideas and enable critical thinking. In the empathy point, it is destroying the monotony of a regular school day or unrelenting, stress-free and difficulties while doing other subjects. Leadership is also making your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-discipline, and able to build a strong personality to be a future entrepreneur. Those are the things that really is really important in our school system. And also, traditional identity is promoting and valorizing a cultural identity of a tribe or ethnic. So nowadays, art education in the worldwide world is facing a lot of challenges. Art faces some challenges to survive in the world of education system and in society in general. Based on each country context, it has been observed that Western countries and Asian countries are still continuing to develop and pushing forward the importance of that field in school and improving research to connect with the new era of technology sciences, which resonate more with its definition. When I say about that, is about like the fact that art education is actually quite integrating in other subjects. Yes, it comes from those subjects, but now it's part of integrating other curriculum subject, which is called mostly which is also making the fact that we have what we call part of, beside art education, we have what we call art integration. This part of research of art integration means implementing art in other subjects like mathematics, physics, sciences. And that's what we see. That's what I was mentioning about technology, about sciences, because nowadays in school system, with the monotony of some subjects and everything, teacher now must be aware about giving another techniques of teaching. So art integration is mostly about techniques of teaching, how to improve their technique of providing their knowledge to the students. And for the case of African country, it's a very alarming situation because we all know how art has been always our base and essence of each community in this world. And it has been widely kind of erased or stigmatized from the society, from the well-being of the society in Africa. It has been observed that art education is struggling to survive in the education system. There are less article or research produced on that topic, which means it's very difficult for anyone who wants to write anything about art or want to conduct any research in art education to really find some clue or how to really help to develop that field. Less concern on its importance in our school. All the three level of education means from the primary, secondary, and tertiary level. A lack of follow-up and its development by the stakeholders. Less promotion of art in the society, like museum artifacts, which are kind of is a beauty of knowing where you come from. Is a beauty to know, to reconnect with your tradition, to reconnect with your culture. But if you don't have much promotion of that things, new generation actually are really losing it. And no financial fund, material and resources to produce or to maintain the follow-up of this field, and no value attached to art, because once you heard someone say I'm an artist, actually it looks like it's say that I don't have a job, or I'm poor, or I lack of any fund. For them is kind of equal a poor person or no job, or it has been very look at the last job in the society, last class job in the society. What can be or should be done? I really mention it like that because we still have a lot of things to do. We still have a lot of way to look at that situation. Poverty of aspiration is as damaging as poverty of opportunity. And it's time to replace a culture of low expectation to many with a culture of high standard for all. I really like that quote from Gordon Brown. And what we can do, yes, from context, different contexts, art education in the world actually is challenging for everyone. So based on every country context, they are trying to do their best. But in our case of art education curricular reform based on each country means it has to be kind of reviewed from the Western point of view. It has to be reviewed from the way they have been developing, because they are still continuing and pursuing their development of art education, whether or not they still have of some problem with funds, because also is also very critical in their country perspective. Must we observe that is problem, the problem come from funds and support from many organizations and from the school system. And now they are pushing forward art education over art therapy to dealing with mental health issue, where they are pushing forward art education over the of economy with the 3D, the physics, where we can implement it in the technology and the sciences. Yeah, that's the most forward things from most of the developed or well-developed country and from their context and point of view. And what is from the African context, we have also the roadmap of the UNESCO. Actually, the UNESCO since 2001, they have been promoting the learning of art education in African system. So the primary objectives of the conference of the roadmap established in 2001 from the UNESCO, they have been focusing on art influence and economy of African systems. With art, we can promote our economic system because it's a whole, art has a whole ecosystem, because museum, artifacts, tourism, all are part of what we call art. If we don't develop that, we are kind of killing those areas. And also is a good way of facilitating our economic growth and also employment rate. From the organization, UNESCO have been called for UNDP, UNFE, and the World Bank and UNICEF to support, and also non-government organization to support African country to continue to promote art education in school. So African country must implement or accentuate more on the learning of African arts and cultural subjects in education system. and the promotion of art in school and the society. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I hope I wasn't really so fast, but actually that's the main situation about the problematic fact about art education and the use of it, because it's so important. We are not seeing it in that way, but art actually is our life, is what we do every day. It's nothing that we say is erased from another side. Art is very important because, well, how matter we are doing other subject, or we want to we want to develop our society, it had always been part of it. And my whole experience in China has been observing that every country develops itself with art. And we know that Africa has a lot of heritages about what we call art. We have a lot of things, and it's dying. It is very dying, because if we don't get up to save those culture, we don't get up to save those that situation, art might dying, and we don't see it, but it has a real impact on our education, whether you are a scientist, whether you are a researcher in other field, whether you are a researcher in medicines, whether you are a researcher in technology or internet development. All those things actually are connected with what we call art. That's why it's a main point in our education. That's why it's still looking for solution, so that it cannot be erased totally from education system. And thank you very much. And thank you. Hello?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. Indeed, we must build back our culture
Yes.
through the arts that you shared. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So we will move to the next presentation right away. Just a minute. Yes.